Straw man fallacies. Listen, people hate losing arguments, but what they hate even more is feeling outmatched. When someone realizes they can't handle the actual point you just made, a weird psychological survival instinct kicks in. Instead of listening or rethinking their stance, they panic. They need a version of your argument they can actually beat, so they build one right on the spot. That is the straw man fallacy in a nutshell. It's pure distortion. You say one thing, and within 5 seconds, they're arguing against a completely different statement, one you never even came close to making. They turn your nuanced point into a cartoon caricature, knock it flat, and then look around the room expecting applause. It's an odd mix of massive ego and immediate surrender. The ego part is obvious. They refuse to admit they don't have a solid counter, so they fake one to protect their pride. But it's also a total white flag. By changing the subject to a fake version of your words, they've already conceded that your actual point was too tough to crack. Look at how this plays out in real life. Tell someone you think a team needs better defensive rotation, and suddenly you hate the head coach and want the whole roster traded. Say you want to double-check a budget line item, and suddenly you don't trust anyone on the team. It's exhausting and completely transparent. Philosophers used to talk about the principle of charity in debate. The idea was simple. You assume the other person is smart, and you try to argue against the strongest possible version of their idea. If you can beat their best point, you've actually learned something. That's how real logic works. The straw man is the exact opposite of that. It's cheap logic for cheap wins. It treats a conversation like a stadium show where the only goal is to score a quick point with whoever happens to be watching. Reality doesn't matter. Accuracy doesn't matter. Just win the round, even if you had to cheat to do it. And that's where the judges come in, whether that's a crowd on social media, a room full of coworkers, or a literal jury. When people lean on strawman, they aren't talking to you anymore. They're playing to the room. They rely on an audience that is either too lazy or too biased to notice that the target just got swapped out. It's intellectual cowardice, plain and simple. Constructing a dummy argument is easy. Knocking it down is even easier. But standing toe-to-toe with what someone actually said takes effort. It takes real confidence to say, I see your point, but here's where I think the flaw is. When you start spotting this pattern, you realize how much time gets wasted in everyday conversations. Half our disagreements aren't even real disagreements. They're just two people arguing with ghost versions of each other while the actual issue sits in the corner, completely ignored. So how do you deal with it? You don't take the bait. The moment someone rebuilds your words into something ridiculous, don't defend the fake version. Just drag them right back to the starting line. Make them repeat your actual point back to you before you move another inch. Calling out a straw man doesn't require a masterclass in logic. Just strip away the dramatic theater and point at the mess on the floor. Either we talk about what was actually said, or we're just wasting air. Knowledge is king.